It's a whole lot of us, that's my family. Wanna go higher, turn up the tempo, increase the BPM, okay. Increase the BPM. Increase the BPM. Increase the BPM. Increase the BPM.
What's up, guys? This is Chris. Welcome to our weekly podcast, In the Huddle, where we ask current or former athletes into this huddle, into this space to talk about their story, what God has done, what he's doing, and what he will continue to do. Super excited about today to have one of our graduating rowers, Grayson West. Thank you so much, Grayson, for being on our podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I'm excited.
Well, so you're from Marietta, Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, Marietta, Georgia. Tell us what it was like kind of growing up in your house. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, so I grew up in Smyrna, which is closer to Atlanta, and then when I was older, we moved to Marietta, but I grew up my parents got divorced when I was 8. So I grew up in a house where I don't really remember my parents being together. So I have one brother. He's 4 years older than me. And I really don't get along that much. But so I grew up like that. I always grew up going to church. We went to an Episcopalian church growing up. So I wasn't super strong in my faith. It was kind of just going to church every Sunday. My mom played the organ, so we were there every Sunday, and then we were very involved like in choir and all of that. So we were there Sundays and Wednesdays, and that was like a big part of my life growing up. And then I would say like when my parents got divorced, it was also right around the time our church kind of split as well. So my dad started going to a non-denominational church, and then my mom started going to like a Methodist or Presbyterian church. Yeah. And I always was like drawn towards a non-denominational church. My dad would go, and the church he would go to would be at night on Sundays, and then my mom would go in the morning. So I'd kind of go to church with both of them. But then again, it was also just going to church because I was like wanting to both my parents to be happy with me. I was very much a people pleaser, and like I did not like conflict, so I was like trying to avoid that at all costs. So I was just like, I would do whatever I can. But yeah, that was kind of growing up. When I would say in 8th grade, my dad met my stepmom. So that like started to get introduced to my life. I have 2 stepbrothers as well who are also older. So I'm the youngest and the only girl.
Baby.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the only girl in my family. So
Wow.
Yeah, but they're great. So,
Yeah, well, I look forward to talking a little bit and just a little bit about your faith and just a little bit about that. That were sports like part of your?
Yeah, so I grew up doing every single sport possible.
Okay.
And I did not like any of them. My mom kind of just would sign me up, and I'd be like, I don't like it. And she'd be like, okay, on to the next.
So what's some of those sports you didn't like?
I did not like lacrosse. I did that for the longest probably, and I just hated the running. Like running was not for me.
I don't blame you. I don't like running either.
Yeah. So lacrosse, I did volleyball. I tried out for softball, but I broke my wrist. So I only went to tryouts, and then I never actually did the sport. I did everything but probably like dance and cheer. So, and then when I was in 6th grade, my mom was like, you have to do something. And I was like, so she put me in rowing because my older brother rowed. So.
Okay, so in high school they had a rowing team.
Yeah, so I started in 6th grade. So like it was a high school and middle school team. So the earliest you could start was 6th grade.
So that's you're taking the boat on like the lake, or is it the river?
Yeah, it's the river. It's the Chattahoochee. So
okay, Chattahoochee.
Yeah.
That's a Alan Jackson song there,
yes,
isn't it?
exactly. So it's not the cleanest river, but it's a very shallow river. So it's not super big. It's nothing compared to the Ohio here.
Okay, so educate me and anybody that doesn't. Tell me a little bit about rowing. I know that you guys get up super early. You're practicing on here at the Ohio River, and you work a whole lot. But tell me like the logistics of rowing.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, we would row in the afternoons, but when I got to college, it's mornings. But basically, you get to practice, you warm up, you take your boats out. You have to, we have our boathouse, so that's where all our boats are stored, and you bring the boats down to the dock yourself, and you also bring your oars, which are like the paddles we row with. Yeah. You bring that all down, and then we also set up our coaches' launches. So the boats they go in, we have to set it up, put all the gas, life jackets, all of that, and that hasn't changed. I did that in high school, and I still do that now.
How many are in a boat?
We have 8 people in a boat or 4. So it's either an 8 or 4, but you also have a coxswain. So a coxswain is a person who steers the boat and kind of just, they're in charge of everything. We're just in charge of putting pressure behind the blade and rowing as hard as we can. And they're like, where we're going. Like,
It's like a player coach.
yeah, exactly. And like just being in time with each other. So
Awesome.
there's technically either 9 or 5 people in a boat, but only 8 or 4 rowers.
So the novice like me, it's not just you're just rowing.
No.
There's a lot of
It's
timing and precise.
Yeah, a lot of technique. You wouldn't realize how much technique goes into it because you all have to be in sync. And like even watching videos of rowing, I'm like, wow, like that looks peaceful. That looks so nice. And then you get in it and you're like, wow, there's a lot more to think about.
Your shoulders and back, it's a constant workout.
It's like,
legs.
it's mainly your legs. It's like 60% your legs and then into your core and then it's like your back and arms. So,
Wow. So 6th grade, you started rowing.
Yes.
And you found something that you liked.
I didn't like it at first.
You were just good at rowing.
I don't know. My mom just kept signing me up and I didn't have an option.
Okay.
And then I made friends and it was kind of to the point where I was like, oh, like I like hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
So I just kept doing it. And then there was also really like, I was already a part of the program and like my coaches, like there was kind of like, I would have to tell them if I wasn't coming back. It wasn't like, oh, like just can't sign up anymore.
Yeah.
So I went all throughout high school.
And you didn't like conflict, so you're
Yeah,
just gonna-
exactly. So I was like, I'm definitely not. So my mom was like, well, you got to do something. So it was just kind of that. And so in high school, I like had all these friends and like loved them. And I was like, I'm not rowing in college. I go, absolutely not. Like, this is not for me. Like, I just do it because like I have fun like with my friends and like I'm good at it. Like, so I don't know. But I took a summer off and I was like, oh, like I kind of miss this. And it was something my parents always were like, you need to row in college. Like, at least look at it, like scholarship opportunities, all of that. And I was like, no. And they were like, well, you're going to look at it. So I took a summer off and I was like, oh, I kind of missed this. So I did start looking at it. And I actually had a friend I rode with in high school. Her name was Neela. She was a year older than me. And she actually ended up coming to Louisville. And so this was during COVID. And one of the assistant coaches came to my high school. And so she was like, just talk to her. So I talked to her. And that's kind of like how I started to come here.
Well, I love how sports, you just get built-in friends. You know, and your mom and your dad were right in that when you're part of a team, it's just like you have a family that's given to you.
Exactly.
The good, bad, the ugly, this and that. It's all a family, and it's just built in. It's there for you. So, so what's the reasons that you came to Louisville? Because I mean, I don't know what recruiting looks like.
Yeah. So like I said, I reached out. I had talked to our assistant, one of our old assistant coaches in person. And I was so nervous. Like I did not want to do it. At this point, I was like, I'm still not sure I wanted to row in college, but I was like, I'll just talk to her. And then I came to Louisville on my visit and it was just kind of like, wow, like they truly care who you are as a person and not just a rower and an athlete. Cause rowing something you get told a lot during the recruiting process. You're not tall enough. You're not big enough. Like I'm 5'7", so I'm definitely on the shorter side of rowers. A lot, you like 5'10" and taller is like what a good rower can be. But Louisville didn't care about my size. They cared about the person I was, which I really appreciated. So I came on my official and I came with almost everyone in my class who committed actually. And we had a lot of fun, but it was also just like the coaches poured into us and like they cared about who we were as people.
That's awesome.
So I really liked that. But I also saw a lot of girls with FCA shirts on and I was like, oh, like that's cool. Like I want to be a part of that. So
well, yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah.
So you talked about faith being part of your life when you were younger. You come to college. I always say that, you know, from 18 to 23-year-old, you know, you're getting away from home and you're starting to make your own decisions, go your own direction. If your mom and dad made you go to church, now you realize, hey, this is my choice now. I don't know. Or, you know, if faith was not part of your life, some people kind of just say, hey, I'm kind of gravitating towards this. Or it could be some people on your team wearing an FCA shirt. It spurs and sparks some interest, like, hey, what is that? You've always come across as somebody that has a lot of joy. You're just happy. You're just happy with life, and I don't think that's a front or a facade. What makes you happy?
I would say just like as I've gotten older, just like the Lord and like all the blessings around me and the people around me, I think my friends are something that gives me a lot of joy, and just that is something I've realized is just what God's given me. I would say my dad likes to call them God winks, but it's just something that lines up with like that was God. And so I think the process of coming here was all a God wink, and I didn't really have a strong faith coming into Louisville. Like I would say I was Christian, but like at the end of the day, I wasn't reading my Bible. I would just really go to church on Sunday, and I made my sport my entire identity. Like however I did at practice, like that's how I felt. Like if I didn't do good at practice, it was like, oh wow, like my life's over basically. And it was never about me and like having that joy just because I had that joy. And I've kind of learned now to just have it because what I do on the water doesn't mean who I am as a person. And I think that's like something that I've learned over my 4 years here for sure.
Yeah, it's so good. God wink. I'm going to use that. That's really, really good. So you see the FCA shirts, you hear people talking about it. Tell us what it was like your first time walking into FCA. I don't even know if you remember that. What was that? Why'd you go? Who asked you? What did you, when you left, what did you think? What's some things? Because a lot of people may not know what an FCA meeting is or what it looks like on a college campus.
Yeah, so I think I had an upperclassman invite me. There was about only 1 or 2 girls on our team going at the time, and we have a team of 50 or 60. So it's a pretty large team, and there were not a lot of people from our team going to FCA. So I think one of the upperclassmen, she was on surf team, WAC, and so she invited me. And so it was me and some of my friends went. There was like a handful full of us that went, and I just went because I think I was just drawn towards it, not necessarily having that faith myself, but I was like, oh, like I'm Christian, like let me go. Like I think that'll be fun. So I went, and I think something that you say all the time is you have to belong before you believe, and you always want us to belong before we believe. And I think that's just something that's really important because it's stuck with me over the 4 years of just bringing other teammates to FCA and just having them come and learn about God. But I started to come, and I just came every Monday because I was like, oh, there's a free Chick-fil-A sandwich. Like,
That's fine.
yeah, like my friends are going, so I'll go like that. But it did start, and it was kind of just like our freshman class coming to FCA, like 1 or 2 upperclassmen, but it wasn't a huge part of our team. And then I would say over the years, it's definitely grown, and we do have probably a little under half of our team going to FCA now, which has just been such a cool thing to see grow. So I started my freshman year, wasn't very involved. My sophomore year, I was asked to be a part of surf team. And at first, like, I said yes, but like it brought me a lot of anxiety just because I felt a lot of imposter syndrome. Like I was like, I don't know enough about Christ to be here. Like I don't have a strong enough relationship with him. And that's just the devil working. And like, it's sad to look back and be like, everyone's on a different level of their journey. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like we're all welcome here.
That's right.
So we started that sophomore year, and that was also when I talked to Tammy about starting a Bible study. So we had never had a Bible study before my sophomore year. So we started a Bible study sophomore year. It probably started with like 6 of us, and now we have maybe 15 going. So it's been really awesome to see how the Lord has grown on our team. And then this year we also started a pre-race prayer, which was that was really cool because I had always seen specifically like the soccer girls, like I knew they did a pregame prayer, and I was like, oh, like that's really cool. But I don't know if our team could ever do that just because we don't have a lot of believers. And I was always like, oh, I don't know. But then this year, a couple of my teammates and my teammate Julia, she brought it up. She was like, what if we did a pre-race prayer? And I was like, yeah, like let's do it. Good. So we just sent a message out in our group me, and we were just like, if anyone wants to join. And we actually had a lot more girls than I expected to join it. And it was just such a cool moment to see like we could all come together no matter what boat we're in. Cause we have about 5 different boats throughout the team. So it's like all the girls came together before they raced. So whether you were in the first boat to race or the last boat to race, it was just like one moment we could all be together before going out. Yeah. So,
well, you said so much in there, which is really, really good. You know, coming to FCA, somebody may come for the Chick-fil-A sandwiches or a shirt or whatever, but that doesn't keep them coming. There's a draw to keep them coming, and you guys, your team, specifically you,
Mm-hmm.
kept coming, and not only just coming, but investing time. I also love that you said, you started a pregame or pre-race prayer. That's not an FCA staff person leading that. That's not Tammy or myself or a coach. That's you
Mm-hmm.
and your other teammates, and that's what I love. I love that. Hey, you come around and you kind of see what's going on, and you're like, hey, I can do this, and you don't play into the imposter syndrome that you said that I can really do this. That I'm not qualified, but God's called me, and when
Mm-hmm.
God calls me, that's all I need. And so to be able to step out those, in your words or your dad's words, those are the God wink moments that I love hearing. So tell me when. I mean, obviously you were raised in church. Talk about playing the organ, I think it was, and you
Mm-hmm.
started being around. But when was the moment, or if there were a moment that you surrendered your life and was like, okay, now this is my decision. I'm living my life for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Take us through that.
Yeah. So I actually have one moment before I surrendered to Christ that I just like knew he was real. And I think a lot of times, like, I struggle with like not seeing a physical thing. And it's hard to just sometimes have faith because it's something you can't see. But when I was in 7th grade, I went to a Sadie Robertson conference with my friend Hartley at the time. And so we were there and she was just talking about like giving your life to Christ and all this. And I think a lot of times I was just like, is God even real? And so we were praying or worshiping, one of the two. And I just closed my eyes and I kind of felt like God put his hand on my shoulder and just like, he was like, I'm here. And so that was a really cool moment because it was like the first time I was like, wow, like God's real and like he's moving in people's lives. But then again, it wasn't, I kind of just went on with my life still. Like I'd pray occasionally and we would pray before every meal, but it wasn't like that was like my faith. So I grew up Christian, like I said, and then when I got to college, I started coming to FCA, but it still wasn't like I wasn't living for him. And so I
Yeah.
would say being a part of Serve Team definitely helped that. And the beginning of my junior year is when I would say I surrendered to Christ. But then again, it was like, I don't have a date. And so
Yeah.
I think that was like hard because I was like, oh, I don't have an exact moment where I was like, wow, like I'm fully living for him.
Mm.
And so
It's almost like continual surrender.
yeah, it's just always been continuous and like growing and growing and growing. But this past fall, I decided to get baptized. So I was baptized as a baby, but I was never baptized like on my own. And so I was meeting with Tammy one day and I had gone to church the previous Sunday and I was like, Lord, if this is something you want for me, like I just pray like you put it on my heart and like you give me a sign. And so I met with Tammy and I was like, oh, like, I don't know, like I was thinking about baptism and she was like,
Yeah.
actually, she was like, that just popped in my head today. And she was like, I was wondering if you had been baptized. And I was like, that's my sign. So I decided to get baptized. That was in November of this fall. And I kind of just wanted to get baptized just so I like, not that I had a date, but like, wow, like I knew this was a moment in my life
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm fully surrendered and like, I'm giving my life to Christ. And it's like, I'm not living for me, but like I'm living for him.
Yeah,
So.
and in those I don't want to say small acts of obedience, but significant acts of obedience. Like, do I believe personally that baptism, there's nothing special about the water. It's not magical water or holy water, so to speak. It's water.
Yeah.
I've seen them put that in there.
Yeah.
But it's God saying, hey, this is an outward sign of an inward change. This is an act of obedience. And yes, it's for you, but it's for everybody else watching too. That's like, man, here's a young lady that is continually dying to herself and significant of being buried to themselves and resurrected in Christ. And what a beautiful, beautiful thing that is. I always ask this question to people, and the answers vary, and they vary with me from time that I'm season that I'm in. But who would you say that Jesus is to you now in this season? There's so many. I think of my own life, and I'm giving you some time to think on that he's maybe this one moment, and then 3 or 4 weeks later, or 3 days later, or even 3 hours later, he may be this. And does that question make sense? Who is Jesus to you?
Right now, I would say a provider. I think right now I'm in a lot of waiting seasons in my life and just taking those next steps after graduating and just knowing that I need to trust him and it's going to be in his timing and not my timing, but he will provide because he always has. So I think right now just like trusting that he is that provider, but just waiting for the moment.
And he's in the waiting. And that's the things that I've looked at in my life, whether it's waiting for a job, whether it's waiting for a college decision, whether that's waiting for Tammy, you know, that there's moments in that waiting where I really called out to God and like, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I have anxiety going on, but your word says to come near to you and that you'll come near to me, that you come near to the brokenhearted, that you give us peace that passes every bit of understanding. So him being your provider in that season, because it's easy to say we trust God. Okay, and now we got to act upon our trust.
Yeah.
So that's so good. Tell me your major and kind of what you're looking to do. What's some things, you know, God's put different gifts and things within our heart to do. What's some things that you like to do, and maybe tell a little bit about what's on your heart.
So I graduated with my BS in communications, and then I have a minor in business administration. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I want to do something where I'm helping others and just like getting to talk to people every day. I really like talking to people. So I would just love to like be in maybe like hospitality or events, but I want to stay in the sports world. Just rowing being such a big part of my life for the past 11 years. I'm not ready to give that up because I think being in sports is definitely a different mindset than other industries. So I would definitely love to stay in that. But as to what I want to do, I don't know. So it's definitely just helping others and working with others and being kind of client faced. I had 2 opportunities last year and the year before working at the US Open in corporate hospitality. So I really liked that because it was 3 weeks. So the first 2 weeks we were kind of just setting everything up and just making sure everything's perfect. And then that last week is kind of when you're talking with clients and you're making sure they're happy and they're having a good time. And what they're paying for is like what they're getting and just like a white glove service, which I kind of really liked.
That's good. Well, you know, the Bible says in Psalms to delight yourself in the Lord and he'll give you desires of your heart. And I don't think that that's a bait and switch that, all right, God, I said, I love you. Now give me whatever I want. That's not what it is. But I think once we truly trust, knowing that he will provide, that he's put different gifts within us, that he's sovereign and he puts us right where he wants us and desires us to be. So I guess I'm saying all that to say if there's anybody in hospitality or events, hire this girl. She's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what are you going to miss the most about? And it's not like, you know, you may stay in Louisville for a while. What do you feel like you're going to miss the most about, you know, just the Boathouse, FCA, University of Louisville? What's some things that you'll miss?
I would say the community. I think that's just so important to me. And like you said earlier, like a lot of my joy is from like just people around me and being able to see God working through other people. And I think right now, like that's going to be hard because I think whatever my next steps are, it's like you kind of have to find it. And like you mentioned earlier, like being a part of a team, you're kind of given that and like you're given those girls. And I think that's just what I'm going to miss the most. I think it's a really cool thing to row and do or any sport and do something really, really hard with people you trust. And so just finding what that is in my next step.
Yeah. Well, I loved how you bragged on your family too. You know, that even in, you know, because all families, there's mess. And for you to still talk and show how much that you love your mom and your dad and your family and how God has, again, provided, you know, and yes, you love your mom and dad, but even just how your dad has been an example for you. And, you know, your mom too, I'm not saying that, but just there's something special. Because when I look at relationship with our fathers. I always think about that. That's kind of like our relationship with our Heavenly Father. And so being a dad of all girls, it's just you want to set a standard of just love and support and grace and just and it seems like from your parents' side that they've done that. So
Yes, I'm very blessed, and
well,
yeah,
we are super proud of you. It's a
you.
joy to have you, and you're not gone from our program. You come back and be part of what we're doing anytime. So I just thank you for coming on our podcast.